make sure my microphone's on. How are we all doing today, everybody? Man, I don't know about you, but it's a Friday. Something about Fridays gets me fired up. And you want to know why? You want to know why Fridays get me fired up? Is because in my head, I think I'm going to sleep in tomorrow. That's why. It's like, I'm going to sleep in tomorrow. It's a Saturday. And you know what? It won't be. It'll be like, I'll look at the clock. It's like 4:52 and I'll be just staring at the wall. I'll be like, well, I guess I'm going to get up. But in my head, I think I'm going to sleep in on Saturday. But I am excited. I am going to Lake Lure, which is a lake about a couple hours away from Charlotte for my Father's Day weekend. So I'm going to say happy Father's Day to all our fathers out there today. I want you to have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your time. And hopefully you get to spend it with your kids. So guys, good morning. Happy Friday. Happy Figure It Out Friday to you guys. Put it in the chat. Facebook world. Say good morning to the Facebook world. Put it in the chat. Where you're from. What you got going on. We got a couple new people on here today on Figure It Out Friday. Let me get my Facebook going here so then I could see my beautiful people in the Facebook world. Hopefully everybody had a great week so far. Claudia. Good morning, Claudia. I got to see Claudia yesterday. We went to charity for mental health, and it was a great event, great turnout. And some of those conversations, they were heavy. They were heavy. I wasn't expecting some of those. I'm going to say I was by the bar, which I was, having my water, of course. And I got myself right in front of the stage. I had no idea what was about to take place. And boy, there were some pretty intense conversations on mental health and suicide. And so I just want to say a little prayer to those people that are going through that. 1 out of 5 people are going through some sort of mental health challenge in their life. So I just want to keep them in mind after hearing what I heard yesterday. But I had a great time yesterday. Welcome all those on here. Welcome, Facebook world. What's up, Karen? Good morning, Mike and Cullen. We got Sharon here, and she is from Seattle as well. I talked to her this morning, and she's like, I'm getting myself up. I'm like, where are you located? She's like, right here in Seattle. I said, I got another buddy of mine from Seattle. So Seattle is winning today, guys. We got a bunch of people from Seattle today. Scott from Michigan is here. Sandy's over here. Chris, what's up? Suave. Good morning, everybody. My name is Brock Zevan, life coach, business coach, real estate agent, and a dad. And so today we got a special guest with us today on Figure It Out Friday. I'm really starting to, this show is growing on me in so many different ways because I get to meet so many different people on so many different aspects of things, on what people do in this world, in the gifts that God has given them to help them for them to help other people. And so I was looking at Sharon's resume here, and her short bio we put on here. She is known as the Queen of Courage, Boomer's life coach with a purpose of movement series. And it goes into defining your unique self. And we talked about it Tuesday with understanding your own personality. Like, I believe you must understand yourself before you can start analyzing others. And before I forget, somebody's got to remind me. I got to remember, we got to say our affirmation. All right. For those of you first time being on here, you'll catch on very quickly with our morning affirmation. For all those who know our morning affirmation, please join in with me. At least move your lips. Something good is going to happen to me. Something good is going to happen through me. I even like Sharon. Sharon was even moving her lips. She didn't know, but she was like, you know what? I'm going to even attempt this. I'm going to move my lips boy, I love it. So I really was drawn to Sharon when I read her resume, and then when we started looking into her, having her as a guest, because I don't know about you, but we all have older people in our lives. I'm actually blessed that my parents are coming with me. I invite them as many times as I can to places that I go on vacation, not so much selfishly to help me with Bryce, boy, because he's all over the place, but I just love they gave me so much in my life. And to be able to take them on little vacations that I get to go on, I'm always like, let's go, let's do something. And my mom's very active. My dad, he would probably spend more time on the couch if it wasn't for my mom. But she's just all about being active at her season of her life. And so when I was reading Sharon's bio and what she does, and she was with Boeing and she retired from Boeing, and she was telling me she beats me, guys. She beats me. She was getting up at 3:20 in the morning, I believe is what her alarm clock said to me. 3:20. So she wins. So she wins that award. I'm not going to try to beat that one. 4:40 is enough for me. But I was just very, very impressed. And, I think when you hear the word retire, it's like, oh, I'm done. I get to just relax and I just get to do my life. But no, people always ask me, not always ask me, but sometimes with my dad being retired, Dad, I don't know if I'll ever retire. I'll always be doing something. I will constantly be doing something in some sort of coaching, consulting in life. And I even, in my weird head, I even have a date, not a date, but I was like, if I could live to 92, I'd be excited. I really want to live to 92. And actually my ex-wife's like, you want to, you've already picked a date? I said, yes, I've already picked my age of when I want to do this. So we were kind of chuckling. But without further ado, with me taking the microphone, I'm going to introduce Sharon to you. I told her, I said, you could be as vulnerable as you want, spiritual as you want, share as much as you want to help other people that are on here, what you went through and where you are today and how you're helping so many people at this season of life that they're in. So good morning, Sharon. How are you? Oh, you're still on mute. So if you want to say your curse words first, we'll get the curse words out and then we'll get you off of it. I always tell people she's like, all right. Oh, there you go. No, you were off of mute and there you go.
Okay, cool. I'm getting my hot chocolate, so I'll be awake here pretty soon.
The hot chocolate. I love it. Well, good morning, Sharon. How are you doing today?
I am pretty good today. It's going to be a pretty day in Seattle. We have an art fair in town this weekend, so it should be a lively weekend, except Father's Day. We might get some rain, so that might dampen the events a little bit.
Well, I we've been getting a lot of rain here in Charlotte. I was telling Cullen on here, he's from Seattle, and I was telling him I think we're in Seattle. We've been getting so much rain lately. Well, it sounds like you have a pleasant weekend lined up. Share with us a little bit about your story here and where it took place and how you started and kind of set the scene for us here this morning.
Well, I grew up on a farm. Us farm people have a lot of good values. You learn to work hard to begin with. And I know as a teenager, I always had kind of this mystery inside of me, like, what's my potential? What's life going to be about? I have realized now that potential thing has been all through my life. Even though I didn't really get paid to talk to people about potential, other than it's in your personality. But I would often help people with their resumes because, sometimes we're too close to our skin. We need somebody to help us be objective and help us see how employers might like some of those strong words that, yeah, that's, I may say agree with you about a talent, but to be able to articulate it on a resume is challenging. But and yet, as a young kid growing up, we get a lot of things from our parent that may not be exactly as healthy as we possibly could be. But I had said maybe 100 times, I said, thank heavens he keeps his hands off me. My dad gave a lot of attention to my sister in a sexual way. And I don't know what made him not impact me, but that visibility, I'm still realizing how that kind of a vow has kept me, I said, okay, don't rock the boat, get good grades, be obedient, just focus on being invisible. And now it's still like since I retired, I've become much more visible. I realized some profile I was given, they said I was an influencer. Me, an influencer. And so I started acting as if, taking really small baby steps to say, well, maybe that is true, because I had been in front of people with Toastmasters and Dale Carnegie course, and I kind of enjoy those. I really implied.
Love Dale Carnegie.
I wanted to practice the session and make my timing just right and all that. And one of my high moments in life was giving my my CTM speech, 10 minutes to talk about anything I wanted to. And there was a massive moment that happened in the middle of my speech that afterwards, a couple of people complimented me on how I had said something about, I had brought a couple books, and this one lady that was an interior designer, I loved how she talked about getting close to people and helping them, helping get their personality and listen to such a way that it would impact how she would design their, living room and bedroom and so forth. And when I said interior designer, I pointed to myself. Interior. I hadn't practiced that. That was just a spontaneous moment. And so the interior designer of expressing ourselves is really, I realize now it's a really strong point about life. And the thing about retirement is we've been working for all those bosses and, making them happy and meeting quotas and all this kind of stuff. But in retirement, we get to live from our heart. Nobody really tells us that. So you're the boss now is what your role is in retirement, and you need to decide how retirement is going to be good for you by expressing your heart. And so I have been moving into the influencer role as Queen of Courage, and I actually wrote a book called Fresh Courage. One of my podcasts that I did a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, was Fresh Courage in Retirement, Finding Purpose, Essence, and Fulfillment is my book. And I think, Brock, we kind of, where the mundane of paying for our roof over our head and our cars and our education, we get in this kind of monotony of life and we forget what makes us happy. That's fluff. That doesn't really count. Well, in retirement, you better know what better learn and reawakening those dreams that make us happy, because that's what you get to do in retirement.
Let me ask this question here, not to interject you, but I'm going to put something out there right now to everybody who's listening. Sharon said a question. I don't know, some of us kind of were just like going through the motions, because what you just said is we go through the motions. I did a story on my personal life recently, and I was brought up that literally what takes place in life is you go to school, you go to high school, you go to college, you get a job, you have a family, you go on vacation once a year, you save money for retire, and then you die. I'm not trying to be mean, but that's literally kind of like the vision that was put inside of my life. Yeah. And then you just asked a question that I don't think, I want everybody to really reflect on this, because this is what happens. We go through life and then we don't even see a moment. And you asked a very, very important question that I want everybody to really, you don't have to answer it, but I want you to think about it today. What makes you happy? Literally everybody. What makes you happy to do what you do, to get your tail out of bed? What makes you happy? And I thought that was a really, really good question, Sharon, that you just asked. So I wanted just to interject on that.
Yeah, I feel there's a few verses that talk about in the Bible about the mystery inside of us. And I'm 75 and I brag about it, but I gave myself a
congratulations. You look good for 75.
I gave myself a birthday party at 70, and I said there's Ephesians 1. Well, my favorite verse is Ephesians 3:16-20. And when I went to 1 year Bible school, and the only thing I remember from that year was it is God who works in you both to will and to do of His good pleasure. And the speaker said, I had been preached that, don't, you got to deny yourself. You got to, God's plan is, so you downplay what your dreams are because maybe they're carnal, and and listen. How can I hear God? How can I? Well, He's talking to you all the time if you listen. I live every day by what do I feel in my gut is right to do today. For all the promotion and marketing that we're supposed to be doing to build a business, I want to be strong and vulnerable enough to listen to what's right for me and live in a way that I'm listening and responding to God's prompting, the Holy Spirit's prompting in my life on a daily basis. Because I like Brock, I'm planting a lot of seed, and you never know where the right seed with the right place where they are in their life might just hit a spark that ignites globally. I actually have a dream to impact and engage with 10% of the boomers around the world, because that coasting in retirement, I'm not sure that was the plan, but the more I hear about how important it is to live from your heart and your joy with a new purpose in retirement, the more I am convinced that living from what makes our hearts sing is totally the job for us now.
Yeah. That is, like, I wrote down here, like, I'm just like, here you are at your age, and you have goals and visions aligned for you to touch 10% of boomers. Like, I find it once again, it goes like, and I love some of my colleagues that I worked with. Okay. But when I was a coach and a teacher, and I did it for 12 years. All right. Does anybody want to take a guess what majority of my conversations were when you worked in the school system for like half your life? Do you want to know what majority of like the lunchroom conversations are, the hallway conversations with teachers? Does anybody want to take a guess what those conversations might be like? Does anybody have an idea? Begins with an R.
About their future in retirement.
Retirement. Exactly, Taylor. They talk about, I can't wait to retire. They're already forecasting and hoping to get to their next level of a retirement. And that's what they're looking forward to. And I remember saying to myself, I was like, there's got to be more to life than just like hoping for my retirement. Like and that's when my brain started. I had no idea where I was. My season of my life at that point, I was only in my 20s. I started teaching when I was 22. Let alone I was just happy that I would, make it home okay back that time in my life. But like when I started reflecting a little bit more, like you said, Sharon, your goal is to touch 10% of the boomers at 75 years old. You are waking up at 5 something in the morning, 4 something in the morning to be on this call. You don't know anybody that's on here, yet you're still up and at them and reaching out and being on a Zoom call. I'm like, you motivated me, like, all right, Brock, you got to kick it into gear. And so like, hats off to you in what you do. And so kind of take us through, like, what does your day look like? How do you continue to move forward? Like, what gives you this inspiration and this desire and this passion to do what you do? Because your book talks about purpose. Chad Free, who talks here on Tuesdays, talks about God created us on purpose for a purpose. So what is that to you?
Well, there's now, this goes back a little bit to what else you said. That
I love the handouts. I love like the what you got going on here with the.
Okay, so most of my, all the talk about retirement was the money. Save the money. Well, now they're saying that there's holistic retirement planning, and that includes family. Anything that changes about the family moving farther away or closer or another country, whatever. That might impact our retirement planning. Our health or our family's health can impact a lot of our choices in retirement. But purpose is what helps us live longer and gives us meaning and gives us satisfaction. And boy, part of that happiness is giving us satisfaction and fulfillment. And I think God puts us together. He impacts our life, but we need a team. That's what the Ephesians 3:20 is. I'm still back at the verse, God working in you both to will and to do of his good pleasure. But when I retired, the week before I retired, I actually started coaching school. And the thing that we did, and this is what I really want to teach everybody, but especially boomers, is to how to write their essence statement, to know how God made us on the inside from your personality and your talents and things that interest you. So we rewrapped our all those elements of what encapsulates our essence. And mine goes like this. And it's the first time I shared it in class, I felt like somebody had asked me to share my soul. I was shocked at how precious that moment was. I am precious jewel of wisdom. I am colorful collaborator, motivator, and learner. I'm tranquil, authentic, and pure inspirer. I light fires. How would it be if you knew yourself on the inside and what, using those elements of your purpose, I'm now calling it inner spark or essence, that to live your life and align it with your inner spark. Because when we live from what naturally motivates us, it's not hard to stretch those dreams and live powerfully with contentment and satisfaction.
I'm a note taker, and a lot of times, you hear so many different things from different people, where it's like a kaleidoscope of all these like the different things that I hear. And one of the words I always use, and you use the word aligned, and many times in life, you are assigned, not aligned. And when I was a school teacher, I was assigned a school to go to. Like, Brock, you're going to go to Bradley Middle. And then there was 2 years in, they're like, no, Brock, you got to go to Hopewell High School. Then I was at Hopewell High School, and then they said, no, Brock, we got to transfer you. You were, first one in, or last one in, first one out. We're like, we got to displace you because of the population has moved and shifted. And then they told me to another school to go to. Then they tell me when I'm going to have my planning. I was always aligned. And then as I was going in my real estate career, there's some different things that happened to me. And then I was assigned into that. I was always assigned. And it wasn't until my last 4 years of my life, and even with my recent change, like I started to be aligned. And then the big picture is when you align yourself, well, whatever it is that you believe in. But when I finally aligned myself with Justin Ford, who's one of my mentors, and he aligned me with being more spiritual, my life even started to take a whole nother level. I mean, how many of you on here, you get to a level and then you're like, this is really good. There's no way it could get any better. And then it does get better. And it's because we align ourselves with our environment. And I always say, if you want to change your environment around you, you have to change your inner self. And Sharon, you were spot on with that. Like, you have to it starts inside. Go to the mirror. Colin has all this stuff on his mirror. He sends me pictures all the time of different things. It starts right there inside yourself. And so, Sharon, I wrote down the other things, guys. If you get Jay, if you could write this in the chat, because ironically, no joke, I can't even make this up. I was listening to Brian Tracy this morning about goals. Did you know that really 10% of people write their goals down? Like, literally in the entire society, only 10% actually write them down. And so I was learning about goal setting for my second quarter, or my second half of my year. And I love, you wrote down money, wealth, purpose, and family. I thought those were phenomenal. And I'm like going to do a 1-3-5 on each one of those in the second half to see where I'm at, because that's how you grow, guys. You have to have some sort of purpose or some sort of direction. You got to start with inside. Sharon, what do you want to leave us with today? What is it that you want to leave this audience with today that are on here, for those that watch the recording later? What is something that you want to drop with us before we take off today?
Well, I love this line from Thomas Wolfe. I found it on the wall at work many years ago. And
what was it again? I'm sorry.
Thomas Wolfe, a saying, if one has a talent and fails to use it, one has failed. if one has a talent and finds partially uses it, one is partially failed. If one has a talent and learns to use the whole of it, they have gloriously succeeded and won a satisfaction and triumph few people ever know.
Mm.
And the thing I'm doing currently that I'd like to share with people is I am in the process of starting a loneliness to resilience community, and you can find it at sharonrolph.com/join-community. And this week is Loneliness Awareness Week, and I read Vivek Murthy's book Together last month, and I realized I'm ready to step up and help solve the loneliness pandemic in the world. And so my initial group will be 50 people to get the software and processes lined up. But on Monday the 19th, I'm going to be launching that program to, because there's so many people in 50 and older that either are empty nesters or they're widowed or they're living alone. That whole isolation thing as we get older is serious. And having recovered from being invisible, the resilience that I learned through life in the living from courage and possibilities and curiosity keeps us young and vibrant and longer life. So I'm headed for 100, Brock. You going to join me?
I knew it. You're going to beat me on waking up and now age. I love it. All right. Now I'm going to have to revisit my goals of how old I want to be. Oh, I love it. And I love your cue cards that you put up. That was really amazing to me. And I loved your Thomas Wolfe. We did put I'm especially fond of you, God. Oh, wow. I really like that one. Those are some really good. We put your information on here. Guys, if you could give her some love on the Facebook world and in the chat. I know several of you have already posted on the chat for Sharon. So, Sharon, we will be, we're just very grateful for you. And I love your energy. You've literally inspired me and motivated me to continue to have that oomph and that extra drive. And at your age is just fascinating to me. Not fascinating. It's impressive. It really is, because so many people are shutting it down and not turning it on. And that really is amazing. And I appreciate you. So guys, we put it in the chat. Give her some hearts, give her some loves. If there's something that triggered, I know Stephanie Sellers does a lot of stuff with our older clientele and some of the things that she's doing with dementia. I mean, guys, for those of you in Charlotte, and if you don't know this, look around your local area, depending on where you live. The 55 and older community, guys, is booming. It is booming. The new construction is booming here in Charlotte. My parents live in a 55 older community, and it is just amazing to me on what it has. So, Sharon, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you being here on Figure It Out Friday. Sharon, thank you so much. Guys, happy Father's Day to you all. God bless you. Thank you so much. We'll be back Monday at 8:15 for Mornings with Maxwell. Have a great one. See you later.